Welcome. My name is Kathleen. I am a Theta Healer practitioner, teacher, and intuitive. And we're here at Unity Church this morning with the introduction to Theta Healing. So thank you, ladies, for coming today. So, first of all, I want to share with you a little bit about my story. 5 years ago, I had a serious health challenge and I was struggling financially. Actually, I'd been struggling my entire life around finances. Even though I was very capable and even though I was very ambitious, I struggled with finances. And so I had received a small inheritance, and I was spending all the inheritance on trying to heal myself because I had this serious health challenge and I was in a lot of pain. And I tried everything, and finally I had a session with another Theta healer. I, at that time, was a Wavemaker coaching practitioner, so we were trading, and I was so intrigued with Theta Healing, I decided I wanted to learn it. So I went ahead and learned it. And I took the class, the basic and advanced, twice. I took it twice and paid for it half the second time. But anyway, I took it twice and I didn't get it. I'm going to say I was dyslexic because I'm not so dyslexic now after all the belief work that I've done with Theta Healing. But at the time I was dyslexic and I was very challenged, or, you know, like around a learning disability. So I took it twice. I went to the practice groups and I still didn't get it. Then I started practicing with another fellow student over the phone, and we would have weekly sessions. She would work on me and I'd work on her. Well, in 15 months I was off the prednisone that I'd been on for 4.5 years, you know, pretty good dosage too, and I was pain-free. So I was extremely happy, excited, and like, wow, this Theta Healing is something else. Because I'd always been an athlete all my life. I'd played tennis, had been on the ski patrol, and you know, I'd always been active, and all of a sudden I had this problem where I looked like a cripple. It was called polymyalgia rheumatica, which means many pains in the body. And when I look back, the reason I had these problems is that I had a lot of anger and a lot of resentment of being a victim most of my life. And you know, there's a whole story on that. And you know, if you choose to, you can go to my website. I have a whole like 6 pages about my story of, you know, abuse and so on. But anyway, so what happened when I was practicing with this fellow student, you know, over the phone and having weekly sessions, I was clearing out all the stuff about not being able to say no without guilt, being able to stand up for myself, that I'm worthy and deserving, and that, you know, I can do, you know, I have a life of my own, and that I don't have to be people pleasing. I was an incredible people pleaser, which is like totally, you know, like nauseating, you know. You're walking around with this big huge smile on your face and it's so phony and everything. So that's who I was. So anyway, Theta Healing was very powerful, and then I started working with clients and they got so much you know, benefits and great results that I decided to get the training and to start teaching Theta Healing. So my first class was a year ago, last October. I had 4 students. Since then I've had 2 other classes, and they've been like, you know, 12 in each class. And what I can say now, which I couldn't say before because I didn't have the experience of it, but the students who have taken the class, like even like 9 months ago, who are practicing with other students and so on, their life has completely like transformed. You know, they're relaxed, they're confident, you know, the problems that they had before don't exist. So we're talking about the power of Theta Healing. Now, this is, after working with students and so on, this is what I've come up with. Under every challenge is a limiting belief. Whether it's conscious or unconscious, there's a limiting belief. And how this goes is that we have the beliefs in our subconscious mind, and from our beliefs cause our thinking and our thoughts, and then causes our behavior and our actions, and then on top of that is our results. So when we change our beliefs, we change our life. And you were just talking to one of my clients just a moment ago, and how when we change the beliefs, basically what happens is you don't have to effort You don't have to effort to try and get things done or be different. You're just different. Is that magical? Yeah. Is that magical? Yes. And so I don't know if you knew, and in the article it shares about computers were designed after human beings. It's called the binary system. And you use this binary system every day on your smartphone when you push it, and it's like a toggle, going off to on off. So in the Theta Healing class, you learn how to turn off the limiting beliefs, turn them off, and turn on the empowering beliefs. You learn how to dig and find out what the sabotaging beliefs are, okay? Now, the reason this class is extremely beneficial and valuable is because Theta Healing is a sacred healing modality. Now, I shared with you that I didn't get it. I took the classes twice. Well, there's so much information. There's a lot of information. Just like if you go and get a book on self-help, you read the book and it's like, oh my gosh, where do I start? There's so much information there. So, being that it takes me a lot longer to learn certain things, I have to say one of my gifts is to be able to explain very complicated things in a very simple manner in a step-by-step way. Okay, so what I've done over the last 4 years, because that's when I first took Theta Healing, is that I have developed what I call the Omega Protocol, which is a Theta Healing Guide and Resource Manual. So during the class, what I do is I teach you what to do by filling in the blanks. It's like coloring by numbers. So you just fill in the blanks of the problem, and you just fill it in right here, and you go through the procedure, and so that you don't have to memorize everything, you can use this as a sheet when you're working on yourself or you're working with others. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. Now, there's another page here that anytime you have resistance, like if something is not changing or something, you can go down and you can muscle check and see if there's any resistance here to having what you want. Because a lot of people don't feel like they deserve, or they're not worthy, or they don't think they can get over a problem. Like Sylvia, in your profession, there are a lot of people that are not on for being healthy. They're not on for being healthy. Now, another thing that you would learn in the class, if you choose to take it, is when people have health challenges, it's usually from a traumatic incident that happened right before they came down with the health challenge or an emotional thing. For instance, I had one client who came in for anxiety. So the first question I ask, and it's all here in the manual, how to do this, is you ask, well, how long did you have this anxiety for? So I asked her, and she said, well, she hadn't really thought about it that much, and she said, oh, about 7 years. And I said, okay, do you remember, or can you remember, what happened right before the anxiety started? And she thought about it, and she thought about it, and she said, well, and then she described something that was very traumatic for her and very embarrassing. So I had her talk about the situation that was traumatic for her. I wrote down all the limiting beliefs that she had created, and we cleared those. And after that, she didn't have the anxiety. Okay? So, during the 4 days of the Theta Healing class, by the second day, everyone who's taken any of my classes is able to change beliefs or clear. So it's something that happens. Okay. Now, I'm just going to ask you. So what is Theta Healing? Theta Healing is a sacred healing modality. Okay, and it's a way to directly connect with the Creator. In the class, you learn how to ground yourself and then go up energetically through your chakras, and you go up to the 7th plane, and while you're going up to the 7th plane, you're in a theta state. Okay, if you know what a theta state, it's the beta is like we're talking right now, alpha is more relaxed, and like theta is like a meditative state. So you go up to the 7th plane, which is all taught in class, and you learn how to make a command to the Creator to change beliefs and to do healings. That's very simplified, but you know we're on a time crunch, so that I'm going quickly. Okay, so what are the benefits of taking theta healing? Well, during the class you learn all this. You learn it, and so that you can work on yourself, you can work on your children, you can work on other people, clients. You know, just you know, only takes a moment. You can clear energy. And the other thing, during the class, we do a lot of clearing. We do a lot of clearing right in the class. So they have, it's proven, Sylvia is a nurse, so I'll be talking to her profession too, and you are a housewife, but you're interested in beliefs, and you know, like, what is your biggest challenge, Laura?
Sticking to my goals for writing.
Goals for writing. So
Investing that in the world.
You mean like discipline and staying focused?
Discipline, yeah. And
okay.
That, I have a question.
Yes.
How do you know for sure you're in a theta state?
Well, in the class, I will give you instructions. First of all, if you decide to take the class, I give you a book and a manual, and this protocol is all included in the course. Also, 4 teleclasses after, where you call into a bridge line and you can ask questions, and then we also talk about distinctions and whatever problems you're having. But anyway, getting back to you, how do you know? We practice during class. I walk you through it. Okay, and there's other drills or examples or things that we do so that you can quiet your mind. Okay, thank you for that question. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, so why is it so important to, you know, what are the benefits of taking a theta healing class? So, you know, you release a lot during the class, and then when you have problems, you can use the protocol and fill in the blanks and work on yourself. Or you can call up a partner or another classmate, and I suggest that you set up something on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, so that you can continue getting yourself more clear. And what I mean by that is, let's say this is your energy field, okay? And these are limiting or sabotaging beliefs, and these are positive, empowering beliefs, okay? So every time you get together and you practice with another student, or if you were working with a practitioner, such as myself, you work on clearing out these limiting, sabotaging beliefs that cause you, you know, frustration, guilt, shame, you know, whatever. Okay, and when you're putting these in, this is more like happiness, joy, ease, concentration, focus. I can do, you said, Laura, you said you wanted to do a screenplay, is that correct, in writing? Okay, so, you know, like, what do you think is holding you back?
Probably several limiting beliefs.
Probably several limiting beliefs are holding you back, okay? So how would it be if those limiting beliefs were cleared out and you had like a clear path to writing your screenplays and being creative and, you know, being inspired and enjoying and just, you know, blocking out some time every day or, you know, whenever? How would that be for you?
That would feel like a relief, not to feel like I'm struggling with myself.
Okay, so that would be very valuable, right? Right, okay. So I wanted to say, back up here a little bit. Before Theta Healing, I had a very big challenge with completing sentences. And, you know, I don't know what's going on, but, you know, since Theta Healing, I am much more focused. I can, you know, speak in front of a group, which was very challenging before. I am, of course, very disciplined, but, household tasks around doing, laundry and dishes and stuff are easy now, so they don't feel like effort or strain, like things that you don't want to do. I'm on time or early for all appointments, and so there's an incredible number of things that you can work on for yourself so that you're more in the flow of life. One of my clients says, she says, oh my gosh, she says, since I've been working with you, I always find a parking place. And I said, wow, very cool. Another client of mine, I think she was heading towards a divorce. It was not good. And so we have worked on her beliefs, and here's a belief that a lot of women have in relationship to men, and that is, if he loved me, he would do this. And that has nothing to do with men, because men have no idea what you're talking about. So when you make up that belief, if he loved me, he would do this, that is a sabotaging belief. Because when that husband doesn't do that, it's all about he doesn't love me. And that could be completely 100% opposite of what is the truth. Okay, and there's a lot of other things around relationships about asking for what you want in a way that another person can hear. Now, in regards to relationships, I've had some clients say or have the belief that I need to get angry to be heard. Well, a lot of people don't do well with anger, because as children, if there was anger involved, they would be closed down. Okay, so there's so many beliefs that can be cleared with Theta Healing. And by the way, just want to show you how valuable this protocol is. I developed this. I have 4 pages of these beliefs, and on the left are the empowering beliefs, and on the right are the limiting beliefs. Like here is, I am enough, I am not enough. Okay, I am healthy, no, I'm not healthy, I'm sick. I'm connected, no, I'm alone. I am a success, no, I'm a failure. What I feel matters, no. What I feel doesn't matter. I'm protected, no, I'm underprotected. I'm powerful, no, I'm powerless. So.
I'm sorry, I was a blessing giver, so I was giving some lessons.
Oh, that's fine. Welcome. Come on in. We're just talking. I can go back and talk about a few. Okay. All right. Okay, great. So what I'm sharing right now is in the Theta Healing class, I have developed over the last 4 years. I've spent, literally weeks. This is like the one that's, that I'll be giving my students this coming class is the 4th edition. And basically, it is a step-by-step how you do Theta Healing. And when you have a problem, in relationships or, anything, you can just fill in the blanks like, coloring by numbers. Okay, in this protocol, there's also all these limiting beliefs that are opposite. The empowering are over here and the limiting over there. So there's 3 pages of those, and the students said this was very helpful because they can go down and check for themselves which beliefs are there that are holding them back and that are sabotaging how they want to feel and what they want to accomplish and who they want to be. Okay. The other thing with this protocol, there's lots of things in this protocol that are extremely valuable that, as far as I know, I'm the only one who's produced this that I know of. But another section of the protocol is around needs. And, we all have needs. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have needs. But according to the definition, this was developed by a famous coach, Thomas Leonard, who sort of was the founding forefather of coaching, personal life coaching. Unfortunately, he passed away, but he was a genius, and he's well known in the coaching field. But what he developed, along with some other coaches, is that when you have a desire or an intention, that's very healthy. You have an intention to have a better relationship. You have an intention, to be healthier or whatever. Okay. Now, having intentions are good. If you have like a need, like you need something, then that need drives your behavior and you don't have choice. It like takes over. And one of the most popular need that I can discuss quite, frankly, is the need that I had. When I was young, I had a need to be acknowledged because I didn't feel like I had self-worth. So I was running around in my 20s volunteering for everything. Do you know what I mean? Wanting to get acknowledgement. And so there are 3 pages of needs that you can check. And some people have the need to be right. Well, that's very costly, because if you have the need to be right, that is going to interfere with intimacy and having relationships. But, I'm not saying that these needs are irrational, but when we're young, by the time, most of our limiting beliefs are formed by the age of 7. And they're the beliefs that we created to help us survive in the world. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, our brains are very small and underdeveloped, when we're 2, 3, 4, and 5. So some of the beliefs that we create, even though that they are beliefs that we create that we think help protect us, and sometimes it's the truth, don't serve us now as adults. They were just a way to survive. And one, I have to be right, or, mine was I have to be really good. I have to please people. I can't say no. I have to be a good little girl. I have to do what my mother says. All those beliefs were running for me. And in business, I've been in business all my life. Before you came in, I shared how most my life I've been a victim. And that's how I had my serious health challenge. Because I think my spirit and soul said, you're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to let you move forward. Because when I had that polymyalgia, I could hardly move. I had a lot of pain in my thighs, and I could hardly move, and I was like a cripple walking around, and it was awful. So anyway, so you in the class or on your own or working with another student, you can go down there and check and see if you have any of these. And a need to to accomplish, a need to be accepted. These are just the headlines. The need for, to communicate, the need, like some people have the need to be, free, need to control. Okay, this is a big one. A lot of people who come from unsafe environments as children, alcoholic parents or whatever, they often have the need to control their situation because they don't feel safe. Well, it gets in the way of a lot of things, because if you're working in a business or anything else and you're always trying to control things, it's havoc, because people don't like it. People don't want to be controlled. So I just want to say that this protocol that you will get is worth the investment in the class. It's like, fabulous. Okay, so let me see. So, why is Theta Healing highly beneficial to learn? Well, it really, really helps you with your health. Because until the age of like maybe 45 or 50, your body is very resilient. And you can abuse it a lot and still be okay. But you start getting a little bit older, and if you're not eating right, or if you have some, some anxiety or stress or whatever, it starts taking its toll. And there's a lot of people who have high blood pressure and stress. I worked with a client, and one of his limiting beliefs was, I have to have stress to be productive. So if you have that belief, I have to have stress to be productive, what do? You create stress. Another belief with a journalist is that, like, I have to wait until the last minute. Well, I don't know. It's like I have to wait till the last minute to get anything done. Well, that creates stress, right? Okay. And where you want to do is turn those off, and it's like I'm always prepared well in advance, and that I do things with grace and ease. You know, I take my to-do list and I just always do the top priority task, and I do it with grace and ease, and I do it without effort. Okay, you see, you're getting the picture here? Okay. Okay, so it helps you with your health, because anytime you have anxiety or fear or frustration, guilt, or any of that kind of stuff, it's like a dis-ease in your body that can cause you havoc. And the biggest one emotion that causes havoc, I think, I mean, it could be shame, but anger and resentment. And it can be on a subconscious level where you don't even know about it until somebody starts asking you questions about it. Because, you know, before I had my serious health challenge, you know, I was still thinking that I was the happy-go-lucky girl, but I had all this deep anger and resentment of being taken advantage of, which I was creating from my own beliefs and my background as a child. Okay. And, you know, by the way, I love my parents. You know, our parents are only doing what their parents did to them, and it just keeps getting passed on. And it's so wonderful, because now with the new energy, we don't have that old, you know, universal consciousness. The new consciousness is coming in where it's, you know, it's really healing for the whole planet. So that's such a blessing. So in relationships, I've worked with lots of people. As I mentioned before, if you go on my website, on the home page, there is like a 50-second video of Keith Powell talking about how his marriage was, you know, going down fast, and after we started working, you know, together, it had completely turned around. And now he says they're like newlyweds, and they've been married, I think, like about 12 years. So it can help you with relationships. It can help you with money and abundance. Organization, discipline, motivation, being able to delegate, be present. You know, it's all about Theta Healing is all about feeling good about yourself and your life. And that's what it's about. And being able, you know, once you learn the technique, you can help others people. You know, if you choose to, you know, help your patients in the hospital, or, you know, help your friends and so on, you're able to do that. So, any questions? Okay.
I was just going to ask you, how do you basically do a session? Or, I mean, is it just...
How do I do a session when I have a client?
Right.
Oh, well, a client comes in, and you know, I always take notes so I know where they left off, and I ask them, you know, what has shifted for you this week? And they tell me, oh yeah, this has shifted. This, you know, I've had success here. You know, everything's going good. I'm finding parking places now. You know, whatever. And then I say, well, what's your challenge now? Or if we didn't finish something last week, we'll work on that. So their challenge could be, you know, I'm stressed about, you know, having company or something, or, you know, whatever it is. And then I start asking questions, and I start digging, and we get down to the bottom belief. When I get down to the bottom belief, I go up to the Creator and ask that it be cleared or changed or removed and so on. So that's sort of like it's in a nutshell. It's very simple, but that's really the bottom line. Okay, now I just quickly want to share about the Theta Healing class. It's 4 days. There's an information sheet there. It's 4 days. It's a full 4 days. I teach in such a manner that I first teach the foundation. And once you get the foundation, everything else falls into place. And I would say on the evaluations that I get back from my students, that's probably the #1 positive feedback that I have, is that it was very, it was very structured, and that they got the foundation, they understand it, and they were able to learn it quickly and easily. And it was a step by step. So that's you know, my gift to my students. And I spend quite a bit of time organizing and planning for the class to make sure it's a systematic step-by-step process, and that we clear out things in the way that would keep you from learning the Theta Healing technique quickly and easily, okay? Now, after the 4 days, there is 4 teleclasses, which is you call into a bridge line. You know what a teleclass is? Okay, you know it? Okay. You call in, and any questions you have, I answer them. And then I, you know, cover some other material that would support you in moving forward. And immediately after the class, it would be very highly beneficial to you to get a name and a number. You get all the names and numbers of everybody in the class to take an hour and a half a week and practice with another fellow student. Because when, you know, when you're in something, it's not so obvious sometimes, but when somebody else is asking you questions, it's obvious, and you're saying what you're saying, it's you know, it's obvious. So that's why you work with other partners. Okay. Okay. The fee is $9.97. So you get a book, you get a manual, which I didn't bring, you get the protocol, and then you get the 4 teleclasses, and then on the 3rd Saturday of every month, you can come here to Unity for $5. You pay $5 for the, you know, the space, the rental of the space. And if you, you know, live way out of town or something like that, we're going to figure out how you can do it through some kind of teleconferencing or so on. But you can practice. And I often give like little hints. And everything that I've learned working with my clients for 4 years, and by the way, they have, most all of them, there's always the exception, but most of them have exceptional results from, you know, working with me. And if any of you are interested, you can also contact me for a no-cost consultation, and we can discuss what your challenges are and where you want to be in 6 months from now, whether, you know, you want to double your income or you want to improve your relationship or whatever, and we'll just have a conversation, and then you can choose whether you want to take the class or, you know, have sessions or do whatever you know you choose. So that's sort of the nutshell. Now, I also teach an advanced Theta Healing class, which includes about 500 downloads, other practicing, and a few more advanced things. And that is offered the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday after the, you know, after the basic. Now, people don't necessarily, you know, think about taking the advanced, but after they take the basic, a lot of them say, wow, this is so powerful. I cleared so much stuff. I want to take the advanced, and they move forward. But, you know, that's up to you. So, questions?
Do you have another one of the handouts?
Yeah, I have plenty of handouts, and I'm happy to stay with you. I know that, you know, Laura needs to go. So anyway, I want to thank you so much for coming in and, you know, hearing about Theta Healing. Theta Healing has totally, literally saved my life. And the students have gone through, if you go on my website, there's a couple of videos, but they actually haven't experienced, you know, that was after the class, and they say the class was great. But the feedback I'm getting back now is like, oh my gosh, I never knew what it was like to relax. I've never relaxed in my life. I've always had a low stream of anxiety or something like that. You know, now I'm successful. Now I have a relationship, or, you know, whatever. So it's, you know, it's very powerful. The thing of it is, though, you need to do the work. You can't just take the class and, like, you know, go away, or, you know, like, I got it. You need to practice with another student, and you need to come to the practice sessions. I'm not saying you need to, but I am committed to my students having success. So I don't want to sugarcoat it, saying that you can just come to the class and you'll have it all. I mean, you have the tools and so on, but working with, you know, fellow students is where you're going to be doing the clearing. And, you know, some of the students who've gone through the class, they just work with themselves and they say, I'm doing great. And they don't work with it, but they say, I'm doing great, and I've cleared out, and my life is great, my work's great, you know, I got a promotion, you know, and things like that. But I'm just saying, I want, you know, if you chose to take the class, and if you choose to, it's a $200 deposit. Okay, and then you pay the balance at the first day of the class, or you can make arrangements with me to make, payments, over 4 months. Okay, so I try to make it easy on people. So, and in relationship to other classes that are being provided that I have taken, other coaching programs and so on that are $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, this is an extremely, great investment. Okay, any questions? Okay, well, thank you for coming. Thank you.